What's good, family? Welcome back. In this video right here, we have some of the wildest and most eye-opening videos you can find on the internet. So smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, especially if this is not your first video that you're watching of mine, and let's get straight into this.
All is happening again. So if you don't know, I've been studying this phenomenon that we've been seeing, by the way, only in the United States, accompanied by really bad storms. It's about to get a lot weirder in 1 second. Like I've showed you in other videos, the same exact thing has popped up in multiple different states, always with the bad storm. Always the same exact colors, and no, it's not a transformer. Most of the time, these things are recorded in open fields when nothing else is around. Alright, remember how I said it's about to get weirder in 1 second? Check this out. Meanwhile, all this stuff is going on, the electronics in multiple cities have been going crazy and glitching. This is one video of so many, again, only in the United States. So what exactly is happening in the United States that brings a whole bunch of glitching in the sky, colors, and glitching with electronics? And not only is it electronics glitching and the sky glitching, some of the biggest and some of the heaviest hail we have ever seen in the United States have been falling every single day, just piling up so deep. This isn't even the same video I showed you yesterday. So I guess my question is, what's happening in only America where only this stuff is happening?
Bro, hail falling like that looks deadly. Square clouds. Those gotta be manufactured clouds.
So I was out tonight off the Gulf of America. Just want to show y'all a little bit of what I saw.
What was she doing? Digging holes?
It's pretty interesting stuff. There you go.
About 3 a.m. when I see a super bright star.
Inside the archives, you will not find speculations, you will find proof. History is a fabrication. Proof that civilizations more advanced than ours have risen and fallen, buried beneath layers of deception. And to ensure the truth never reaches those who are meant to forget, secrets of architecture, sacred geometry, and energy manipulation were not just used to build temples, they were used to alter the fabric of reality itself. Buried in the archives are the real timelines, the history that has been erased. The ancient civilizations that surpassed modern technology, destroyed, covered up, and rewritten as myth. The true origin of mankind, not a random evolution, but a designed creation for a purpose we were never told.
This is the rapper of the original melatonin.
My thing is that if these civilizations were more advanced than ours, why would they rise and then happen to fall? If they were more advanced, why are you falling?
When they first put them out, they took this off of the label. Now I'll read it. Melatonin is a protein constitution. I think that's the word. Constitution of pineal tissue. So that means they had to crush the pineal gland to get this thing.
Right.
So we have the actual document here on the original ones. It's the Constitution, it's real blurred, I can't really see it. Concentration, whatever it is, I don't know, but it's pineal tissue. I got another clearer one that the brother sent me. And the reason I got this when I was in Indianapolis, the brother, Lilly Pharmaceutical, which is one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world, is in Indianapolis, Indiana. So the brother was able to get a couple of these things. You see what I'm saying?
Did you know that it is possible that we are living in the year 1728 instead of 2025? Now, this is a very interesting theory called the phantom time hypothesis, where it suggests that 300 years of history never actually took place. In the 1990s, a German historian named Herbert Illig came up with this theory, suggesting that the Roman Emperor Otto III and Pope Sylvester II altered the calendar to be the year 1000, purely because it sounded more significant. This would be like a coffee shop opening up last year and changing its sign to say, serving coffee since 1967 versus serving coffee since yesterday. It just sounds better. Anyways, let's look at the evidence. Up until the year 614, the Roman Empire was still around, and we have tons of records of war, leaders, daily life. They built major cities, aqueducts, and advanced technology, like inventing concrete, road networks, even paper. And then, after the year 911, we have lots of books and documents around medieval Europe. People were inventing mechanical clocks, windmills, better farming tools. But between those years, there's almost nothing. No big advancements, no major discoveries, virtually no change in population, very few written records. This is why this time is often referred to as the Dark Ages, because we literally don't know too much of what actually took place. So did just nothing happen for 300 years? Well, let's look at architecture. In the 600s, the Byzantine architecture was very popular. It had these big domed roofs, golden mosaics, and highly decorated interiors. Now, if you look at the Roman-esque architecture, which was popular in the 900s, they have a relatively similar build. Large fortress-like buildings with thick walls and stone carvings. If 300 years did pass by, wouldn't we see a bigger difference in architecture, suggesting that buildings like these were actually built closer together and not 300 years apart? Back in those years, the calendar wasn't as solidified as it is today. In fact, they had 7 major calendars being used at the time, all of which would track time differently. So it is very possible that time was added or removed in this time frame. It happened, and more than once. So that is the bulk of the theory as to why we could actually be in 1728 and not.
Man, time is like high key an illusion for real. I mean, the sun just goes up and comes down. Like, let's just keep it like that.
Now notice also, this is the body of an alien, and where we have 6 ribs that are connected together, they have 3, and the total height is less than 5 feet. And they still look like this, not like you and I.
Do y'all believe it? Comment below if you believe it. Because, hey, that would be wild.
They still look like this, not like you and I.
Damn, that looked like God cracking the sky.
If you live in one of these circles, then say goodbye to your privacy. Thousands of automatic license plate detection cameras are stationed across the US, and the rest of the world for that matter. And loads of those things are hackable and ready to immediately let ne'er-do-wells track your every movement around town. They're supposed to stream to private networks, but Matt Brown on YouTube found that a good chunk are just streaming to the open internet, and even the ones that aren't doing that are still accessible without authentication if you can manage to just access their networks. And what's worse is they're also streaming not just video, but the data collected too. The creator of DFlock, a website that documents the locations of license plate cameras, found that gathering the data from a handful of strategically placed ones around a city would let you track regular movements of people and even break them down into organized spreadsheets.
In the following video, a group of friends are having a small gathering as they all collectively sing to a song of worship. The person recording pans around the room to capture this harmonious ceremony, thinking that this evening will end well. But little did they know that something would happen during this gathering that would haunt them forever. Be sure to pay close attention, as no one had noticed it until
Well, the question is, what type of worship were they doing? Who were they worshiping?
looking closely. Take a look. As the camera pans over to the hallway, a shadow-like figure can be seen bolting down the hall at a speed beyond human capacity. Its rapid movement and dark appearance were enough to leave the family extremely unsettled. Viewers believe that this ceremony might have had something to do with the sudden appearance of this figure. They can't help but think that this may have been some sort of dark entity that was provoked by the ceremony. Not much info is given on this video, so it's hard to be sure if that's so. But whether paranormal or not, the sudden appearance of this dark figure is creepy alone. Just what exactly was caught on camera?
You tell people
Super weird.
that this species, this race that we are all a part of, is a hybrid race, that we were genetically created by an extraterrestrial intelligence. How do you tell them that? Carefully. You look around and you tell them carefully, depending on where you are. Now, if you're in Baghdad talking to some Sunnis or Shia, you don't even bring the subject up. How do you tell them that every major religion on the planet has been initiated and orchestrated by extraterrestrial intelligence? How do you tell Christian fundamentalists that that lovely man from Galilee 2,000 years ago was a part of that program? You don't tell them that unless you've checked the exits and know how they can run.
BlackRock.
I mean, the thing is, not even Christians believe Jesus lived. That's the most important thing. Like, before I even fully started believing in Jesus, I looked up, was he a real living man? And all of the evidence provided showed that it wasn't just Christians, but historians that don't believe in God, but still believe, they acknowledge the fact that Jesus was a real living human being. And then from that point, it's like, okay, now I'm just going to learn about this real living human being the same way I would learn about George Washington. I don't know where this dude is getting his information from. This is why with these videos, you have to be discerning. Some of them can be true, some of them can be false. It's just interesting information.
Right, have just bought £1.4 billion worth of UK homes. Lloyds Bank want to build a portfolio of 50,000 homes by 2030. That's public information. What we're seeing right now is massive institutions buying up all of our homes across the UK, right? We're not going to live in a society where you can own your own home. You will just rent. We'll become a society of renters. And that will probably happen over the next 15, 20 years. This is
now that's
probably
crazy.
One of the last buying cycles you can have.
That's insane.
And what's sad about that is that if you are, 85-year-old Paul, right, and you can't afford your rent this month, normally you quote your landlord. And despite what people say in media says, like most landlords are good, humane people, you come to some sort of agreement, right? But you can't call up a massive US private equity firm based in New York, right? And for them, you're just a line item, right? It's going to be really, really bad. And it's going to be much harder for us and much harder for society as a whole. But what's happening right now is that all of our homes in the UK are being bought up by
Another thing, that's like a complete monopoly. So if someone buys up all the homes in your state or the area, they can control the rental price. So if they buy up all the homes in the UK, they can literally control the rental price to keep everyone that doesn't own a home broke. Like just have them going by.
And conducted a study on the frequency of fabrics. She found that the human body is a signature frequency of 100, and a dying human has a frequency around 15. Polyester fabrics rate 15 as well, whereas cotton is 100 and linen is 5,000. Anything below 100 saps your.
Thousands of people in Serbia completely disbanded from this sonic boom or sound technology. I don't even know what this is, but I'm going to show you the raw footage in a second where you can hear how quiet the people were, and then you can hear this sound coming in and completely separating everyone. But you're looking at one of the biggest protests in the history of Serbia, where hundreds and thousands of people are coming together against the government, against corruption, remembering what happened when 15 people died when the canopy of the train station collapsed. They come together almost daily for 15 minutes in complete silence in remembrance of this. Officials of Serbia completely denied using a military-grade sonic weapon, but watch these clips very closely.
Okay, so do y'all remember drawing these as
I wonder why they must have not known what it was. I wonder why everyone's first instinct was like to get out of the road. Probably thought it was a car.
a kid, but I don't mean just like here and there. Were you one of those types of kids that drew these everywhere, every notebook, on your sneakers, on your jeans, all over the place? Okay. Are you now witchy, mystical, spiritual, the weird one in your friend group that always wants to talk about astrology? Yep. A lot of stuff is starting to make.
But these families show up at.
No, it's not starting to make sense, my love. Come on. I mean, I've drawn those in my notebooks, a couple pieces of paper. Definitely, I think I was probably like in like second grade. We all just figure out how to draw those. But I definitely wouldn't sound witchy. Definitely would not say that. But you can say you're witchy. I'm not witchy. Spiritual, yes.
The Bilderberg group and Council on Foreign Relations. They show up there, and but a lot of the descendants of these families, the 300 families, are also hidden in under, say, John Smith or Jim Jones or whatever, hidden between in regular families, but extremely significant, not inner circle members, but second or third tier outside of that, and they're generally the scene. Okay, so you have the outer rulers and the inner rulers. The inner rulers are never. They don't need to put themselves in positions where they're seen, or they don't need to be in movies or entertainment or sports figures or presidents, because they rule with an absolute rule behind the scenes. So the Committee of 300, generally the outer heads, so they're the ones we do see on TV.
I was listening to Blurry Creatures the other week, and they had these two ladies on that work in this ministry called Satanic Ritual Abuse, and it's terrifying. They talk about like people that come out of like government programs. They usually start these people off as kids of like brainwashing them, and they use like the fear tactic. And it's really, really creepy. It's really amazing the ministry of what they do. Of like these people that are coming out of it, and they help them adapt back to normal society and stuff like that. But Luke asked, like, was there an example of like this indoctrination of fear and stuff? And she said, what they did with COVID. She said, no, what's crazy is what were like the two main things with COVID that people had to do: wear masks and stand 6 feet apart. She said, do you know where they practice that? At the Bohemian Grove. That's one of their rituals.
Damn.
And I'm just like, this is insane.
Hold on, like that's kind of a stretch though, because it is also a germ thing. Like, of course you need to wear a mask.
No, that proves nothing though. Like it was 6 feet apart, like a very specific number. And this Bohemian Grove ritual is that they have to stand 6 feet apart while being masked.
That is so weird.
Really creepy stuff.
On social networks, this creepy video filmed directly from the White House has exploded the internet. You can see a bug whistling the American anthem and walking around the presidential office as if he were at home. Then he sits quietly on the president's chair and starts making phone calls. But how did he get into one of the safest places in the world? This mysterious man is nicknamed the Only Survivor, and he became the main internet celebrity in 2024. On his social networks, he has nearly 20 million subscribers. He claims to be a time traveler and claims that he films all his videos in 2030, where he would be the last man on Earth. As you can see, the Boog is moving in totally deserted streets of gigantic megacities. Following several requests from his subscribers, he visits the most interesting places in the world. For example, in this video, he walks quietly next to the Tower of Pisa, completely empty. Or in this video, where he is in the Vatican and walks around as if he were at home without any soul present. But what is most impressive is that he visited the legendary Vatican Library, where the most secret manuscripts in the world are kept. Recently, he began to publish videos of Moscow completely empty, and then videos of a completely deserted Red Square, claiming that soon he will publish images of him walking in the secret corridors of the Kremlin.
NASA can rightfully explain what people just found in this photo taken by the Curiosity rover on the surface of Mars. At first glance, you'd probably miss it, but zoom in to just the right spot, and it's there. Standing out from its surroundings, we see a distinct, smooth, round, shiny metallic object that appears to be floating through the air, and we can even see its shadow beneath it. People are calling it the Tic Tac UAP on Mars, which does look exactly like a lot of the UFOs we've been hearing about and the military's been reporting on here on Earth. Navy pilots have literally used the exact words Tic Tac UAP to describe them, and well, if that ain't a Tic Tac, I don't know what is. This photo is from the Mars Curiosity rover taken on March 3rd, 2020, so we were probably a little preoccupied with something else when this first came out. And as always, yes, it's on NASA's official website. Here we even have an AI checker that tells us it's definitely not altered or AI generated. Strangely too, NASA allegedly removed the original color image from their website and now only have this black and white one up. But if you know where to zoom in, you'll find that Tic Tac exactly where it's supposed to be. Skeptics argue that it's a rock formation or some photography error, but
why has no one been on Mars yet? Like, we went to the moon, they have all these photos of Mars. Why has no one been on it?
man, it looks exactly like the UAPs that have been reported here on Earth. And if these spacecraft really are as advanced as we claim they are, then there really is nothing stopping them from visiting other planets too.
Darren Jeff Merkley here, and I'm here at Reagan National Airport, and I just went through the security checkpoint. And they have a new system to try to make sure that you do not use your driver's license or document instead of using facial recognition. They tell you to put your driver's license into the scanning machine, and then after you put it in and they tell you to step in front of it to get a photo, they proceed to say, well, you can't do that. You have to have your photo taken. And when you say, well, I'm just using my driver's license, and they say, no, you start the process by putting your driver's license in the machine, and at that point you have to use facial recognition. And I said, well, I'm opting out of that. And they said, well, too bad, you have no choice. Well, this no choice strategy is exactly what we've been saying that TSA is after, trying to eliminate the ability to use just a driver's license. The manager called over the manager proceeded to say, well, I know this doesn't make sense, but we have a new policy here, and once you put your driver's license in the scanning machine, you have to go through facial recognition. Even if you step out and step back, sorry, you have to use facial recognition. And so I said, no, that's not the law. You don't have to use facial recognition, and you're misleading people if you tell them to put your driver's license in the machine, and then you tell them because you've done that, you can no longer use your driver's license instead of facial recognition. It's insane. This is big government coming to take away your privacy, trying to set up a national surveillance system using your faces, using the airports as the key mechanism.
Bro, but not only that, they have these stations where they scan your eyeball. I don't know what it's called, but so you can skip the line at TSA. I know you've seen it. If you've been traveling recently, you've seen that. People get their eyeball. I'm like, yo, what do you need the iris in my eyeball for? What type of information and DNA do you need from me, bro? I got my driver's license here.
I will continue to fight this every step.
They want every piece of information about you.
There's a squatter in this house. Hello?
Yeah, fuck no. Yeah.
Who is it?
Yeah, you can miss me with that right there. You can miss me with that one there. Open the door and ask who it is. You're bugging. Looking like hell no. Nope. Not me. Not I.
Petrified Dragon Mud Fossil
That
University.
right there is the eye. That's the carapace, which is the head. These are the teeth coming down. That is a gigantic dragon's head laying on a beach. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I don't think I am.
There's no way.
There's just another shot of it. See the teeth coming out? These are the ones on the bottom coming up. These are the ones coming down. Red is always pretty much blood, and these teeth run all the way out to the end of his snout, which they should. The carapace looks extremely accurately portrayed. The brow of the eye is quite prominent. I
do see that. Alright fam, I hope you guys did enjoy this video right here. Comment down below any thoughts or opinions that you had on any clip that was shown in the video, because I do enjoy reading your comments. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next